One night only. Some of the best names in comedy come together to make you laugh and raise awareness for the Youth Project. Visit helpnothassle.org.
Welcome. You gotta love the Ask Brien theme song. One time they tried to make it rocky. I don't know what they were doing. This is the Ask Brien theme song. Get pumped up, baby. All right, we're at KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. My co-host, Alex Grossman. Alex, you there?
I am absolutely here, Brien. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome, as I am every single day of my life. Every single day of your life should be more awesome than the day before, and you'll be very, very successful. That's the key. So, this is the Ask Brien radio show for people who have never, ever experienced Ask Brien. You know, I don't know what's going on. You need to get a life because Ask Brien is where it's at. Ask Brien is basically a website, AskBrien, no A-N, not Y-A-N, E-N. And Ask Brien is basically a site where people that have any business issue can come to try to get it resolved. There are a number of ways that can be resolved. There are experts that can ask and answer a question. You have a business community that can ask and answer a question. There are webinars to watch. There are videos to watch, ebooks, blog posts, anything you need to know to learn about any business subject. You can go to AskBrien.com. That's what the website is. We have Expert Match where we can match you up with an expert to help you out. And Ask Brien Radio Show is an outgrowth of that, where we interview highly influential CEOs, startups, new concepts, new ideas, anything out there that can help a business owner be more successful than they are. Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help every person out there become more successful than they are. And in any way we can do it. And we're doing it all for free. So as of right now, take advantage of it, use our services, and hopefully you can learn something. So we have a very, very special guest. His name is Marshall Gillen, if I'm pronouncing that correct. Marshall, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, you're a little fuzzy on the radio. I don't know where you are, but it's a little engineer. Is that you or that?
No, that might have been me. I should be good now.
All right, you are good now. Yes. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So, and what is your background? What did you start your career as?
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a great question. Actually, I started my career off as a bartender. I working a regular bar job at a sports bar pretty much all across America. But as of the last 5 years, I've really launched into entrepreneurship. And I'm going to be real honest with you, I could have used Ask Brien like 5 years ago when I was starting out. So I wish I had a resource as cool as that.
All right. Well, I know we're not an alcoholic show, but since you're a bartender, if you want to deliver a Long Island iced tea, I'm up here in Santa Clarita, KHTS. I'll take one now.
It's hot enough out here in Southern California, isn't it?
It's 103 in Santa Clarita. I don't know how hot it is where you are, but we call that hot, 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 hot.
It's incredible. I'm one block from the beach in San Diego, California. It's 95 degrees at my house. I don't know what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, Marshall, just so we're all on key here, occasionally going in and out, so most of the time you are speaking directly in. Try not to move around too much and try to speak directly in so that everyone in the audience can hear you clearly and concisely.
Absolutely.
All right, that's great. So about 5 years ago you started. What did you start 5 years ago?
So 5 years ago, I literally was standing at a bar in the middle of San Diego, and it was an incredibly busy day, and it was just one of those days where you wanted to pull your hair out. Everybody was upset at something. And I remember I was working so hard, and this guy stopped me, big cowboy hat, big belt buckle, and he puts out his hand as he's leaving, and he says, "Son, I'm from a ranch in Oklahoma, and you got to be about the hardest darn worker I've ever seen." And he walked away. I opened my hand, and there's a $100 bill in there. Now, that obviously not a whole lot of money, but at the time, it took me back, and I was like, wow. I said, how can I continue to earn more money and earn more value for my time? And when I started asking those kinds of questions, what happened was I discovered the world of online marketing and internet sales. So 5 years ago, I started my first ever business, and I launched an online personal training site and program. And since then, it's just been me honing in on what I was really meant to do and how I'm supposed to show up in this world. And it's been incredible to leverage the power of the internet and storytelling and video marketing.
So, Marshall, I get the feeling that you must have done some incredible things. I mean, looking at your bio, looking at who you are, I mean, there's quotes on the internet that say things that are just incredible. One of them that I love is Marshall is the single most inspirational person on social media, period. Now that's big praise. How did you earn that?
And why not an exclamation point?
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll have to talk to Cam about that and see why he thought that wasn't important. But, you know, it's incredibly humbling to be where I'm at today because I started off on a farm in the middle of nowhere. I have a checkered past and upbringing, and I've really just been able over the years to kind of stop accepting less and start asking better questions and figuring out more. And what that meant for me was just simply showing up to help people. And I think that's what's so amazing about small business owners today is that a lot of us have the same inspirations. We're after the same thing. It's not even that we want to make all the money. It's just that I genuinely wanted to show up. I wanted freedom, and I wanted to help other people get it. And when I started doing that and showing up to help everybody else out first, in my business, my life completely turned around. And that's been able to, you know, elevate me and my business and my brand to new heights and new opportunities that weren't there before. And it just came from, you know, serving first and taking second.
So you went from a farm to becoming a bartender. Some guy gives you $100, and now you're a speaking coach. That's quite a history you got there, pal.
Sounds like the American dream, right? It's the American dream.
Well,
you know, it's interesting. It's like, and that's literally what my mission is. Like, I'm not out here as anybody special or anybody that's different. And I really live my life, and my presence online, and every stage I speak, and every hand I shake. Because I just want people to know that all of our stories might have different details, but at the end of the day, an emotion is an emotion, and a lot of us feel the same way. And it's too bad that a lot of us have to feel that way because we tell ourselves these stories that we can't change our life. And when I started this mission 18 months ago, I literally walked outside. I said, that's it, I'm done. I want to be a public speaker. I had no experience, no background, no money, no audience. I took up my phone, I held it up, I went live, and I said, this is my journey to becoming a highly paid public speaker. I might fall flat on my face. I don't think I will. You guys are welcome to see what it's going to take. And over 18 months, I just showed up to help everybody else live their dream. And because of that, I've gotten to live mine.
So how did you get an audience?
Live video. That's the thing I think that most small business owners aren't utilizing enough. And that's fair because how do you know what you don't know? But the power of live video on social media is just absolutely incredible. And when you know how to utilize it and which areas to utilize it in, for me, I was just able to leverage that, tell my story, which attracted a bunch of people to me, stayed consistent doing it every single day. And after time and, you know, learning, investing time, money, and energy, I was able to finally figure out exactly what my audience wanted to hear and how I could best help the world.
Well, we're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. That's my New York accent. So we're back here. Again, I don't mind to interrupt again, but Marshall, again, it is not perfect on the reception, and we want to make sure that everybody hears every single word you say. So
I'm not sure why that is. Okay.
Now it's fine, but it is going in and out a little bit. So just, I guess,
I
try to
apologize for them.
No apology necessary. We just want everybody to be able to listen so that they can all learn from you.
Absolutely.
Alex, you had a question.
Yeah. So Marshall, you're an inspirational speaker. You say that you're a storyteller, which I think is a really great thing, and you're an entrepreneur, which is incredible how you built this business from that. But you say you help people in business by giving them the courage and the inspiration to go out and do things. And having been a CEO of a number of startups myself, I find that's really important. I mean, one of the keys is to be able to get there, and not only do you have to take your investors and raise money, which means that they want to hear a story. They everything you do about your business is a story, and you have to hire the best employees. And the only way you can hire great employees is to be able to tell them your story as well. So, how do you help business people to be able to do better presentations and get out there and tell better stories? What's your key to being able to help people?
I love that, and it's such a pleasure to be on here with you too, Alex. And I know that the background that you have and the company that you come from is a perfect example of brand storytelling, right? Because even when I open up a box with my brand new product inside of it, the way that the box slides off the other one, the way that the sheet falls, like that tells a story to me as the consumer of why I bought this product. And I think it's so interesting when these other entrepreneurs and these big speakers like the Tony Robbins motivational guru people, they say success leaves clues. Well, one day I started looking at these big successful companies like Apple, and I'm like, well, why is Apple so successful? Why do I buy everything they do? Why do I follow them around? And what I found that Apple did really well is that they were great storytellers. And it wasn't even that they were telling their story. They were allowing me to amplify my life and tell my story. And once I realized that, I go, wow. I said, well, if success leaves clues, like Tony Robbins says, and Apple's over here telling stories and helping other people tell their stories, I said, I wonder if I could make a personal brand out of that. So I started asking people, why is it that you do what you do? And I started going live every single day, interviewing other people who were already doing what I wanted to do successfully. You see, I was just leveraging successful people for free mentorship by giving them a platform to speak on just because I'm a high-energy guy. So they're like, yeah, of course, I want to be on that. And what I learned was that most people who are successful now weren't successful until they changed the story in their head. And those stories usually come from a limitation in our past. And one of my coaches taught me a lesson one time that said, you have to turn your mess into your message. And when you can start to turn that pain into a pleasure that goes around and helps other people, now you're on to something. So what I help businesses and brands do is I help them pull out that, why did you start in business? Why is this important for you to solve for the world? And what is that pain, that turning point that happened in your life that made you go into business, that made you do this? You see, everybody wants to promote, small businesses that want to promote, prices and all these features and stuff that their products and services have. But if more bakeries and more, furniture shops and more mom and pop shops just told the story of, hey, I learned to make furniture from my Dutch grandfather, they would start to have a lot more success and just kind of attraction. And for me, I just learned how to tell a good story and how to find that mess and turn it into a message so I could give other people who are just like me the permission to chase their dreams and not to settle like we think that we sometimes have to in life.
Wow. Yeah, I'm really inspired just hearing you say that. I mean, I'm ready to grab Brien. Can we set up a corporation today, Brien? I think I got to start my business.
There you go.
Alex, I thought you were going to say been there, done that, but okay.
Need to be there again, right? It's important.
Yeah, right?
So, Marshall, I want you to tell us your story.
Yeah. Well, my story starts in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, and I grew up on a farm. Now, I guess my story doesn't really start there.
Were you cow tipping?
No. I'm only 5'6", and although I played a lot of football, I don't know if I need to be trying to run over any cow. I'm better at eating them. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't know if that's appropriate for radio, but I'm a burger kind of guy. But yeah, my story starts off in the middle of Illinois, and my parents were divorced very young. My father was a severe alcoholic. I never saw him growing up. My mom got remarried when I was 4, and I moved to a farm with my stepfather. My mom was the CEO of a bank. She drove to work like 2 hours away every day, so she was almost always gone. And I was meant to spend every day, all breaks and vacations working on the farm with a man who only believed in work, and everything else was pointless and dumb. And if you didn't agree with that, you probably didn't get along very well with him. So for my entire life, I was raised with this man who was incredibly emotionally and mentally abusive to me. I mean, just would tell me just the most horrid things about me, my dad, and how I'm going to turn out to be. Now, the obvious thing when people hear this, they go, why didn't you tell your mom? Well, I don't know where all the listeners are from, but in growing up in the middle of Illinois in the late 80s and early 90s, for us, quote-unquote, men, that's not what men do. You don't go around telling on people. You man up and you suck it up and you go on. And this is where, a lot of people have that same story where it's not the same details, but it's the same emotions. And what I found out about business owners or people in general, people who want to be entrepreneurs, is they have this big message, this big thing they want to do, but because of something that's happened in their past, childhood maybe, there's just this experience that tells them they can't. So for me, I used to go out into public, and I was homecoming king and team captain and prom king and, class president. I'm all the things. And everybody tells me this amazing stuff, but when I come back home, I'm just reminded really quick by my stepfather how worthless I am. And this goes on forever. So for me, by the time I graduated high school, I had a full academic ride to college. I lasted less than a semester. I dropped out, and that's pretty much when my life took the turn of me going, you know what? What's the point of anything in life? It doesn't matter, because nobody's ever going to love me. Nobody's ever going to care about what I do. And no matter how much success I have, it's never going to change. There's no point to ever try to do anything. So for my 20s, it got pretty dark, and briefly touching on it, I had a decade ago an attempted suicide. And when I woke up after that, that's when everything really changed for me. And nowadays, the reason to answer you kind of back there, Alex, about your question of why do people say that online is because now I show up in this way online where I go, I'm not an expert. I'm not a guru. And as a matter of fact, this is my real vulnerable story. I mean, I have videos of me bawling online because I'm like, well, me just being real when I'm like, you know what? I'm still a man. I'm still all these things. I'm still a successful business owner. I'm still an inspirational dude, and I still have these real emotions. And these real emotions stem from me, X, Y, and Z. So for me, what I help people do is I create that space for people to go, oh my God, like I want to share my I want to make that my message. Because for Marshall Gillen, if I can make sure today that I make a video or have a speech and Marshall Gillen from a year ago or 5 years ago or Marshall Gillen from 10 years ago sees that video or that speech and he doesn't want to hurt himself, to me, that's what everything is about. So I show up in a way every single day that says I don't have to help everybody or save everybody. I just have to save Marshall Gillen from today and the whole, in that whole past life. And that's really the kind of how I show up. And I've been very blessed to have a lot of great things happen to me because of that.
That old saying that you have to hit rock bottom before you come up sounds like you're trying to stop people from ever getting there. I had read on your website that it says, on a mission to save a billion lives who save a billion lives. Is that all about getting people before they hit this rock bottom?
So it could be anything. And, it's audacious when people hear that first that they don't know me. A billion lives. Give me a break, Marshall. And the thing of it is actually I met with a lady who, really, really long story short, she controls 2 million. She controls a water supply in the largest virginized water supply in the world that waters 2 million people. I gave her this strategy to go find people to fund it and build it online and the storytelling. And it's going incredible. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. It started off $1 million to help 1 million, and I was like, wait a second. I have the potential to help 2 million people right there. So that was my first reminder to dream big. But, yeah, the goal is, Alex, is that I think storytelling has the power to save lives. And I just want it to inspire people to tell their story, because if I can plant a seed in your heart that gets you to go out and share your story, no matter who that story's for, then you have the power to save lives. So it's not about making money and having freedom. I don't care if you're at the bottom, if you're on your way, or if you've already overcome that and now you're on the journey going, God, somebody please help me. I'm there for that person to go, look, I was the kid that was laying dead on the floor, and now I'm the guy standing on stage making money and living my dream life and giving people the hope. How is that possible? It's not, but I made it possible. And if a farm boy with me who's been to 5 colleges with 0 college credits can do it, anybody can do it, literally. So that's what I do. And God, I've had such worse jobs than that. Give me a break. What are we talking about?
Wow. Now, when you say story, you're not really talking story in terms of a fiction story. You're talking about a nonfiction autobiography
Absolutely.
type story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Storytelling to me is kind of like, well, I'm going to make something up.
Well, 100%. And it could be very much that too, right? So today's storytelling and what I teach business owners is that first off, you got to get your audience to know you, like, and trust you. We all know that old saying, the old acronym, know, like, and trust, and then they become lifelong buyers. Well, in a noisy market where everybody's advertising, I think we see 3,000 or 3,500 ads a day on average. No, and you don't stand out from anybody in particular when you're advertising and marketing. So what we've figured out how to do successfully nowadays is leverage video marketing and storytelling to do that. So once we find that brand origin story, now everything else is already pre-framed for storytelling. So let's just take let's just say somebody like a mom and pop furniture shop, for example. Well, maybe if their audience in the local area is being marketed to with video marketing, and that audience knows their story because it's on repeat like a commercial via social media, well, now that gives them the option to tell any kind of story they want because it's framed. So they could say, hey, check out this brand new table we got in. And actually, when we got this, it reminded me of the first time that I was going to open my first ever furniture store. And I was incredibly scared because I didn't know if I was going to be able to fund it, if it was going to work. And I'll tell you what, if you feel like the same way when you're buying your first table, let me tell you, I know exactly how you feel, and that's exactly why we put so much pride and dedication into customer service and making sure we can finance you the best. You know what I mean? So it does become about making up a story after you've laid that base of what is that brand story, that foundation.
Hey, Marshall, I don't mean to interrupt.
Nope.
We have to take a commercial break. We're going to be right back, and you're going to finish your story. Thank you very much.
Life's not meant to feel complacent. It's meant to make you feel alive. The youth ministry at the Church on the Way Santa Clarita believes that students can belong to the group where we will help them believe they have a purpose in Christ and become all that He has created them to be. We want to see God's power come alive in our generation. We love meeting new people, so come hang out with us. Doors open at 6 p.m. and service starts at 7 every Wednesday night. For more information about the Church on the Way Santa Clarita, including service times and what's happening through the end of the year, visit tcotwsc.org.
Hey, this is Ellen Kay, and did you know Exer More Than Urgent Care is open daily in Stevenson Ranch? Exer is the ER alternative that's built and staffed by ER doctors. With on-site lab, x-ray, and pharmacy, Exer has more medical services than a typical clinic. Walk in and be seen in minutes. Open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. For more information, just go to exerurgentcare.com. That's EXER urgentcare.com.
At City of Hope, we don't believe the future can wait for the future. For over a century, we've been advancing science that saves lives. From 4 of the world's top cancer-fighting drugs to the development of synthetic human insulin. We are maximizing the potential of immunotherapy and making precision medicine a reality. It's not enough to promise future cures for cancer. We must find them sooner. We are the miracle of science with soul. Find out more at cityofhope.org.
KHTS. Now FM, 98.1 FM and AM 1220, your hometown station.
Welcome, and welcome. 1220 AM and 98.1 FM. We have a great show with my co-host, Alex Grossman, and our guest today is Marshall Gillen. Marshall, you were just before we were ending, you were going over this stuff about the furniture business, and why don't you catch people up and then finish that off?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I just wanted to make sure that the listeners today get an actual tangible, actionable plan on how they can tell stories. And I don't know if we'll end up covering that later or not, but, it really just comes down to finding your audience and speaking whatever it is to their pain, the solution that you offer, and finding the stories to tell that are going to hit their certain emotions. And like I said, we can get into how to break that down and how to tell those stories for sure.
Marshall, you said a couple things right before the break that were kind of interesting to, myself, having been an entrepreneur many times, we face these things. You said in a noisy market, differentiating yourself. And I think that's really important. I mean, today, whether you're in a market where you have products that you sell in a store or something that you do online, people today need to learn more about you to make a decision if they're going to buy from, store A or store B. And I think you talked about that story and how you get it out. And so I'd like to ask you, how does social market media get you out? How do you get this word out? What are your suggestions for people?
Yeah, well, first off, the first thing is the reason that people don't take action on social media is fear of judgment. And that's the same reason we don't do a lot of things in real life. And I find out that, first off, that this is key, and I mean this in the bottom of my heart. You always hear successful people say, the power of association. It's the type of people you hang out with. Well, I'm telling you, the same thing is important about your digital space. If you're not cleaning up your digital space and you're not treating your online space just like your real-life business, just like a real-life digital store, then you're going to have a lot of trouble. And what I mean by that is you wouldn't let somebody hang out in front of your real-life physical store and hold up silly memes, or you wouldn't let your family members argue about silly stuff or post sports stuff on your storefront. You'd be like, get out of here. This is my business. Well, I want small business owners to think about all their social profiles the same way. It's a representation of your brand. And that's what people have to understand, is that social media and being consistent on it allows the fans of our business to follow us and have an inside look into our story. Let them see what our online business and brand is about. And when you think about it, it's like, okay, well, think about this. Every single person you see these days, even here in Southern California, there's homeless people who have phones. Like, that's the only thing they have. Everybody seems to have a phone. And what I want small business owners to think about is this. The phone is now a TV. And for any entrepreneurs out there, Gary Vaynerchuk goes over this in a ton. The mobile phone is a TV. And everywhere you go, somebody has that mobile TV in their pocket everywhere. People are on it all of the time. So when you think about that as a business owner, go, okay, well, now I don't have to know Jan down at NBC or Bob over at CBS. I'm in control of my own media station. So now when I think about that, I go, well, what TV station do I need to be on? So you look at TV stations that are on the new TV, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Twitter, Medium, and you say, well, where is my target audience? Where is the best chance for me to broadcast my quote-unquote TV show and get the best audience to follow me? And once you determine that, it's about creating content or posting or creating a quote-unquote story or show that's going to want your audience to tune in every day. And the same reason that reality TV is exciting to us forever and always since it came out is the same reason that people are going to watch you on social media. And people will go, well, I sell vacuum cleaner parts. Nobody cares about that. Well, people who buy and sell vacuum cleaner parts care about that. You know, your target audience cares about that. So people need to let go of, oh man, what is everybody else going to say? And then you need to go, oh man, I'm a media company today, and I have a cell phone, and I can make and broadcast media to my audience with no gatekeeper. I mean, and you can test it for free. You can't go, hey, I'm going to test that billboard for free for a couple of days. Can I just keep throwing stuff up there until I find out what works? And I think that's one of the things that people don't realize about social media is the power of reach in branding and getting people to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah, and you talked about reach and you talk about billboard, and I think the interesting thing about social media is that they're both, but local businesses can advertise now nationwide, and nationwide businesses can seem local, right? Isn't that part of being able to tell that story and getting that reach out there in social? But you're
Absolutely.
right. It's scary, though. I mean, all of us are afraid of people criticizing us on social media. I mean, how do you help people to get over that fear? What's the magic in doing that?
You know, it's interesting that you asked that, which actually brings me back to what we had just talked about when, you know, they said, well, how do you get people to do this? Peter said, I thought this was more about getting them to make up stories, and you're telling me it's more about getting them to tell their story. And that's correct. The reason I start with that is because I can't get a business owner or a brand to have the courage and the motivation to show up and tell their and post like that and be vulnerable until I help them understand why their story is so important and why they don't have an option as a business to sit on the sidelines. And once I'm able to move them to a point where they realize that, then that's when I'm able to start work. So, like, I can't work with everybody because some people just won't be ready for that. They're not ready to do that. The people I work with are people who want to tell their story, who want to leave that legacy, who go, okay, I've been making money, or we've been number one, but we want to stay number one, or I've made money and now I want to give back, or anything like that. So the answer to your question is, well, how do they get out of their own way and start to live like that? Well, they first have to find out why. And I know that sounds super cliche, but it really is. You have to start with the why, because unless your why is so strong enough, then you're always going to worry about what people think. You know how scary it is to go on live freaking like social media and tell people you tried to take your life? Like, wow, what do you think people are going to say about that? But my why was so strong to show up for that old Marshall that I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people say because I have to do it. So when business owners can think of their business and their mission like that, then they should be, if I say, hey, how many options do you want to sell your product? Do you want one option or do you want 100 options? I think every business owner would be like, oh, I'd like 100 chances, right? And that's what social media does, is it gives us more opportunities to be seen and heard.
Well, I just want one that works.
Exactly.
KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Marshall, I wanted to make sure we had enough time. So what I want to do is, not everybody understands the whole concept of storytelling and how that brand works out. So I want to start out with the fictitious furniture store located on Main Street in wherever you grew up or Newhall or someplace, and may have a website with a one-pager that gives some basic information from Weebly or something like that. So I'm the furniture owner. How am I going to create this story? What am I trying to do? How does it work? Plot it out for us.
Yeah. So first and foremost, there's a few things to remember. One, a good story is relatable, and that's it. You're just trying to make something relatable for your audience to understand and feel. Two, the whole entire point of a story is to cause your audience to make an emotional investment. The bigger an emotional investment they make, the less objections you're going to get from them, whether it's price or anything that has to do with what you're offering. So the point of the story is one, to be relatable, and two, to get them to make that emotional investment. The third thing to keep in mind with storytelling is that you have to understand that the story is not about you. Nobody cares how cool you are. Nobody cares how good your business is. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. The old saying is nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So why I say that is the third thing that people need to realize as business owners is that they have to understand that your client is really having two problems. They're having an external problem and they're having an internal problem. Now, the problem that most business owners make is they almost always try to attack that external problem. So let's take CarMax, for example, right? CarMax, they know that the problem is that their client needs a car. That's the external problem, that they need a car. The internal problem is that it's a hassle to deal with car salesmen. It's going to be a hassle to figure out the finances because I don't understand it. It's too confusing, right? So when CarMax tells their story, they don't ever talk about the external problem. They always talk about the internal problem first. Hey, it's no hassle. It's super easy. Anybody can do it. Stop in and leave today with the car. They don't ever talk about the fact that you need a car. So what I want business owners to understand is, one, make your stories relatable. Two, make your stories make your audience make an emotional investment into you and into your solution. And three, really, really show them that you can solve that internal problem that they're feeling so they can get out of their own way so you can then sell them the solution to the external problem. So that being said, now it just comes down to reverse engineering or to working backwards from whatever your goal is. Hey, if you want to sell a lot of furniture, or if you want to sell car insurance, or if you want to sell your plumbing service, first you have to get the people to know you, like you, and trust you. So make some videos online. Just don't worry about a website. Websites are important for logistics, and there's lots of stuff for lead generation. But if you really want to keep it simple, I would say pick some social media channels and really become great at using them. I communicate with all the brands and businesses I use through social, almost never their website, never. So for the business owners out there, think, okay, how can I show my audience something today that's going to be relatable to them, that's going to get them to make an emotional investment into my brand, and that's going to show them that I can solve their internal problem and their external problem. And when you keep those three things in mind, now you're the expert in your business. What's the solution that you can use to change your client's life, your audience's life, your customer's life? Whatever that is, tell the story that's going to let them understand that, oh, wow, this is relatable. Oh, I love this guy. I love this gal. And then, oh, wow, they know the way. Now, obviously, storytelling is, I don't mean to oversimplify it, but it is. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? Literally, something happens in the beginning, then there's a problem that happens that in the middle, and then there's a climax at the end that fixes it. So it's not about making it big and elaborate and crazy. A business can tell any story they want. Hey, today I got to the mail place, and one of the customers left cupcakes. This reminded me of the time. This makes me thankful for starting my business. I remember 20 years ago that I almost was too scared to do this, and now 21 years later, we've been helping customers all across yada, yada, yada for X amount of time, and all from just taking one little leap. What are you ready to take a leap in today? If you guys are ready for more, whatever this business sells, stop down and see us.
You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Alex, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I would. Marshall, that was really inspirational as well. I think that part of what you're saying, everybody natively knows, but just getting it out is always the hardest thing. And I think a lot of people don't understand, and you just made it clear for me, a lot of the stories that people have are relatable, even if they're very simple. And I think that's teaching people and coaching people how to do that. In my past lives, I've had a couple, coaches that have helped me along the way. And people don't really realize how important it is just to have a coach and to have someone that takes
absolutely.
an objective view of what you do and can look at you and say, here's what you're doing right, here's what you're doing wrong. Even though you think you're doing it right, I need to be objective and help you. So my question to you is, I've noticed that you've worked with some pretty big businesses, celebrities, and I don't know, have you worked with some small business? I mean, if someone wants to work with you and someone wants to contact you, is this something that they can afford to do? I mean, I've watched some of your YouTube videos; those are great as well. I mean, how do they get started with you? What do you do?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So when you work with me, what I specifically do is this is the number one thing that business owners need to be clear with, and I'm only going to say this in case, because I don't know where our listeners are at in their journey. But the first thing is you've got to get absolutely crystal clear on who you want to work with. As a business owner, I don't care if it's a physical business or an online business or not, you are doing this business for you because this is a chance for you to have the freedom and the lifestyle you want. That being said, you get to pick who you want to work with. And I know in the beginning a lot of business owners will take whoever gives them money, and we really become more of a generalist than a specialist. So to answer your question, Alex, the reason that I make so much content every single day across, like literally I just did a live yesterday that I could sell for thousands of dollars because it'll make people thousands of dollars. I don't want that. I want people to literally, I remember what it was like in the beginning to want to change my life and not be able to afford all these things, all these courses, all these programs. Yet, but that's the only way to do it, it seemed. So for me, the way that people work with me is, one, I just want them to follow me online. What's your favorite social media platform? Come watch what I do. I'm not here to tell you how to do it. I want to show you what I'm doing. And that content alone, I get people reaching out to me all the time going, bro, you changed my life. I launched this business. I closed X amount of deals. I had one lady that closed like $30,000 in sales off of a 15-minute live we did. And so what I'm saying is, okay, well, that's great. So people who want to get started with me, one, start to follow my content. I'm giving it all away for free. The next thing is when I work with that, and why I'm being clear about ideal clients is because I do work with a specific kind of client. I specifically work with helping people who want to work online as influencers or people who want to become public speakers. I wish I could help everybody in the world and every single small business owner there is. But I will say this, and I don't understand, and Alex, and then Peter, you may know too, but Alex, you as an entrepreneur, you know this. I don't understand why more people don't get the cheat code to life, like the ultimate cheat code to life. You look at people like Tom Brady or Michael Jordan or Steve Jobs, the most successful people of all time, and what do they all have in common? They all have multiple coaches who coach them through everything. So again, when I think of success leaves clues as a business owner, well, I might not be the solution for you, but how can you look around and go, who has already done successfully what it is I want to do? Because there's not the ultimate cheat code in life. Like, wait a second, you're telling me all I have to do is go find somebody who's done what I want to do successfully, and then I just have to invest my time, money, or energy into them, and they're just going to give it to me? That sounds like a no-brainer. So for me, I've been leveling up my life one after the other because I go, okay, so I just have to make a bunch of money and then reinvest it, or time and reinvest it, or energy and reinvest it. I get to download information from somebody who's already done it, and I just move that much quicker. So from eight, and now again, this is not about numbers. I don't make that much money, but I was able to build a six-figure business in less than a year from zero money, zero experience, just from showing up, telling my story, solving people's problems, and getting clear on what I just talked about.
That's pretty incredible. Six-figure income in 1 year, and that was. What was your background online to get there?
Failure, messing up everything. It's funny. For 5 years, I was terrible. I was learning all this stuff and trying to do all this stuff, trying to do it all on my own. And then finally in year 6, this guy had targeted me through a Facebook ad, which I didn't know at the time or understand. And I ended up investing literally the last $1,000 I had. I had $1,017 in my account. It was 11:30 at night, and I said, you know what? I got to do this. And I bought this course that taught me how to help local businesses use social media to attract clients. And I watched all 36 videos in that course in like 30 some hours, and I went out and closed my first client in the first 48 hours after that investment. And that was the day my life changed forever, because I said, oh my gosh, I've been trying to do this for 5 years, and literally in less than 48 hours, all I did was just invest in somebody else's knowledge. I downloaded it. I get to keep it forever, and it only was $1,000. And now because of that $1,000 course, I mean, I've made, multiple thousands of dollars, but more importantly, changed thousands of lives. So the most thing for business owners that want help from me, follow me, reach out, just say hello, let me help you. I'd be glad to help you before I'd ever charge you. But if it's not me, please, for the love of everything, go out and find a coach, a mentor, a mastermind, something that can help you go faster and help more people.
Well, that's pretty scary. You spent your last $1,000 on a program. If the program didn't work, you'd be in trouble. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. But same thing would be say with starting a radio show, right? Or taking a job at Apple or any of those things. Like, there comes a time in our life when we just believe that we have what it takes. And even when other people are going, you can't do it, I'm like, I think I can.
Yeah, I think also there's an interesting piece that you touch on, too, is that, in a competitive world where we are today, you need to be the best that you can be. You might be good at it. I was very fortunate that I had a coach at a couple companies, and one of them was Apple. They want to get you to a VP level and above, and they'll give you your first coach. And what was really interesting for me is that my coach said to me, look, you're doing everything right, but let me show you how you can do it better. Let me show you how I can tune you to be the best that you can be. And it turns you from a great player to a fantastic player. And I think that's the same thing with sports, the same thing with anything. Anything you do, you can be better at what you do. So even if you're knocking it out of the park in your small business, well, think about how that small business could be $1 billion business if you just did a few things better. That's my coaching 2 cents. And I think what you said was similar to that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it just really is. It's just, like I said, I struggled for so long by myself. I just think it was senseless for me to do that. But again, how do you know what you don't know? And that's the power of association. When you can't find a solution, you just tell yourself, oh, I can't do that. And that's it. The loop closes. But when I hang out with people like Alex and Peter and I go, well, I can't do that. And you guys will go, well, wait a second, Marshall. Wait a second. You thought about it like this. And I go, and then the loop stays open and a little bit longer and a little bit longer. It's that power of association and co-creating. And all of a sudden, these magical things start to happen.
Well, that's what people do when they do brainstorming. Listen, we're going to be taking a break, and we'll be right back listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM with our special guest, Marshall Gillen, and my co-host, Alex Grossman.
Little Eye Leaders is the newest preschool in the Santa Clarita Valley. At Little Eye Leaders, our outstanding teachers lead with intellect, perspective, and heart. That means our programs provide a warm, nurturing atmosphere to meet the unique needs of each child. We believe that play is a powerful form of learning for young children. That's why our kids have every opportunity to learn through the magic and excitement of play. Parents, schedule a tour today by calling 303-0400 or online at littleeyeleaders.org.
The VIP Grotto experience at the Ivy Day Spa. Your experience begins with a clay facial mask. Then you are painted with a soothing aloe vera shea butter coconut oil body mask. In temperatured chambers, you relax and allow the moisturizing masks to work their magic. Finally, you rinse off in a rainforest shower and finish with a pH balancing mist. Treat yourself to this hydrating and refreshing experience at the Ivy Day Spa. Call to reserve your VIP Grotto experience at 260-1244.
Have you ever been in the middle of cooking on your barbecue and ran out of propane? It can be so frustrating. Don't ever run out of propane again. Call Plumbing by Kirk to set up your free estimate to find out if your barbecue can be retrofitted to hook up to natural gas. Plumbing by Kirk can assess your situation for options to hook up your natural gas line so that you'll never run out of gas in the middle of cooking again. Give us a call, 263-6519, 263-6519, or go online at plumbingbyKirk.com.
My dad is the best plumber ever. Call Plumbing by Kirk.
The popular Summer Beach Bus is back. The city of Santa Clarita is now offering rides to Santa Monica Beach on Saturdays and Sundays, now through September 2nd. Forget dealing with traffic or money for parking. Ride to the beach with ease on one of the city's comfortable, air-conditioned commuter express buses. And bring your beach chairs, coolers, and surfboards. Fares are only $3 each way for children and adults. $1.50 each way for seniors 60 years or older and persons with disabilities. For more information, visit SantaClaritaTransit.com.
Something big is coming to Castaic.
Is it a dinosaur, Bob?
No, Blanche.
Is it the 2020 Olympics?
No.
I know. We're finally hosting the World Cup.
No, silly. They're building Castaic High.
Bob, no way.
Way. Go visit CastaicHighProject.com. You'll get all the latest details.
What's that web address again, Bob?
CastaicHighProject.com.
Again?
CastaicHighProject.com.
Bigger than a dinosaur?
That's right. CastaicHighProject.com.
Santa Clarita's hometown station. Hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
Welcome back, KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. And we have a great show today. Basically, it's on storytelling. And we have our special guest, Marshall Gillen, my co-host, Alex Grossman. Marshall, I was asking you off the show, and you mentioned to us that when you were down and out in Beverly Hills or down and out wherever you were down to your last $1,000, and you decided, you know what? I'm going for the red on the roulette wheel, and you did it, and you won. What was the name of that company?
Yeah, so it was actually a guy who sells online courses, and he's an online influencer by the name of Ty Lopez. You guys probably maybe have heard of him in the LA area. But he was selling a digital course that was teaching people how to launch a social media marketing agency. Now, for the year prior to finding Ty's course, I had this idea in my head that I could build websites and help businesses market. No. I would help them advertise. No. And I couldn't figure it out. There was something local businesses that I was supposed to help with online something. I couldn't figure it out. But I started to have all this random knowledge of how to do it. So the reason I decided to take that leap is that I got to a point when I saw Ty's course, his offer online on Facebook, and I said, this is what I've been waiting for. This is the last thing I need to teach me how to make it an actual business and actually go out and close clients. So and it's funny, my girlfriend was at work, and I was like, oh my God, she's going to kill me. I didn't even tell her. I just pushed the button. I said the last $1,000, and I was like, oh my God, here we go. I got to make this work. And like I said, I didn't even sleep. I literally sat there for 36, 38 hours and watched all of these videos at the time. And then I took a shower and I went right out to downtown San Diego and started hitting the pavement, man. And the first person I went and talked to, I actually closed, and I did it with a story, which I didn't understand at the time at all. So it's ironic I ended up back here.
Well, wow. That's amazing. I didn't even know what it was, and you still were able to sell it.
100%.
That's a pretty good deal. 36 videos. That's what, $30 a pop?
Yeah, I think it's like 120 videos in there now because it's been out for a year. It's in this guy's most successful course. It changed my life. There's a lot more stuff that you might need after it, but not a lot of stuff. But it changed my life. I have nothing to do with social media marketing really now. I mean, kind of lightweight, but I'm so grateful to that course and that man. And that was my first real mentor and coach. So it was amazing.
And Marshall, you've spent the last year doing a lot of inspirational speaking as well, and just doing speaking events. And I know you're in San Diego, California, and in the West, especially in California, there's a lot of entrepreneurs. But where have you been speaking, and has it been just in Southern California? And do you find all the audiences are the same or receptive? How is that working for you?
Yeah, so for me, I'm pretty lucky because I'm a platform speaker or an entrepreneur speaker. So I don't get paid to show up and speak, although I come to speak on people's stages, tell my story, and then sell my program on the back end. Because I do that, I speak at a certain type of event, which are open public events for entrepreneurs. And for me, I'm very blessed because those people that come to those type of events are generally people who are ready to have their lives changed. Now, everybody loves a storyteller. I always say, man, the highest paid speaker is always the storyteller, especially the best storyteller. So for me, people will see me lounging around, hanging out. I go to these events, and I'm willing to be on all the panels, and I hang out and talk to all the people. And they're just you're so calm and fun, and just have it, and you're just chilling. I'm yeah, because this is my job. Do you understand? I used to be a millwright. I used to work in this scammy little frickin' place, turning conversion vans into I don't even know what. I mean, I've done all kinds of crazy stuff. So for me, I'm lucky. My audiences are the same, and because I'm the storyteller and I get people to love themselves and create that permission for them to be great, I usually get a really good reception everywhere I go. But especially because I have my online personality and because I've leveraged social media marketing, when I go to events, I am sometimes at this point even more well known than like the keynote speakers that they bring in. And I'm nobody. It's just because I show up more often in everybody's face than anybody else does because I've leveraged marketing and video storytelling to level up my brand.
Well, you know, let's not go overboard. I mean, the reality is you're pretty successful, and that's why people are so interested in listening to you. And you know, you do have a great story in quotes. We have about a minute and a half left. Okay, so if somebody wanted to get in contact with you and use your services, how would they go about that, and what would you be able to offer them?
So what I want people listening to do is this. If you guys are listening, either on LinkedIn or Facebook, go and find me at Marshall Gillen. Okay, Marshall Gillen, at Marshall Gillen. Go find me. And if you guys have any questions about needing help, just reach out to me. I'm just a regular dude. Reach out and ask me, and let's see how I can help you. I can help you tell your story. I can help you figure out how to position that and how to really tell that brand and live into it.
And you said you started out and you got well, I don't know, we have about 30 seconds left. To get your first customer, how did you find them? You looked online. How did they contact you, or how did you contact that first person?
I was just hitting the pavement first time, man. That's the thing. You just got to go out there and close a couple of deals to get that overhead, the income, so that you can reinvest it back into automation and marketing.
All right. And your website is?
You guys can find me at marshallgillen.com.
marshallgillen.com. And what services do you offer? The storytelling, coaching, what else?
Yeah, so what I do is I offer digital products. I offer the Storytelling Academy, and I also offer a 30-day Get Paid to Speak accelerator where I teach coaches and experts how to get paid to speak in 30 days. And then I have another course which teaches people, the Storytelling Academy, which teaches people exactly how to become a more persuasive and influential speaker.
Oh, that's what I do in my legal career.
Hey, there you go. Maybe we just link up, man. We'll help make you a course and start generating some online income, bro.
Hey, extra income is always good for everybody involved.
Amen.
Alex, we have about 20 seconds left.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Marshall. I think what you're doing is a great thing. I think that people should definitely check you out at marshallgillen.com. And inspiration is something that keeps us all going. And as a business person myself and an entrepreneur, I can tell you that sometimes it gets really hard out there in the trenches, and having someone help you is something that can separate from success and failure. So thank you very much for talking to us.
Tremendous honor.
Thanks, guys.
Tremendous honor, you guys.
Thanks, guys. KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Thank you very much.
Salty, tastiest, bacon and pancakiest. Big yawns are okay, yummy syrups, yes way. Butter pecan, blueberry, old-fashioned strawberry. Never empty coffee pot, mom says it hits the spot. Almonds are the fluffiest, dad tucks the scruffiest. Scrambled eggy, pepper shaky, orange juicy, wide awake. Stuffed French toastiest, waffles with the mustiest. Buttermilky, smooth, silky, tastes great. Love on a plate.
IHOP, everything you love about breakfast.
City of Hope is a world leader in cancer research and treatment. And there's a City of Hope community practice location right here in Santa Clarita, eliminating a major barrier in the fight against cancer: distance to quality care. Santa Clarita benefits from City of Hope's compassionate care and renowned clinical expertise. Find out more at cityofhope.org/Santa Clarita or call 661-799-1999.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 2 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Immigration ruling. Pesticide banned. I'm Mike Moss. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is being threatened with contempt by a judge who has told the administration to stop the deportation of immigrants while they are in the process of fighting to remain. District Judge Emmett Sullivan ripped the administration for its policy. Two of the plaintiffs in the case were on a plane for deportation at the time of the ruling. The government said it is racing to comply with the court's order. An appeals court is ordering the EPA to pull a pesticide widely used on fruits and vegetables. Here's correspondent Jim Roop.
The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has ordered the EPA to place the pesticide chlorpyrifos back on the banned list. The chemical is widely used on California farmlands, in fact, more than 1 million acres worth, and farmers and some scientists maintain it is safe in acceptable levels. But the court says scientific evidence that the chemical can harm the nervous system